to the warm-up session. Slightly delayed because of a delayed start and then a safety car period in the preceding GV4 race. But 2 one-hour races in prospect here in Norfolk today. David Addison and Joe Osborne trackside. Bryn Lucas down in the pit lane. Temperatures a little bit cooler than they were on Friday for testing. But for the teams, it's an important weekend because there are only 2 more events to go after this. And with 2 races here, you can get a bank raid of points. 2 good results today are certainly going to help across both GT3 and GT4. Warm-up session is going to be 15 minutes long. It's not going to affect the grid unless anybody gets a penalty, which may incur a grid drop. But what it does give the teams is a last chance to do a little bit of running, and in the case of 1 or 2, make sure that dramas are fixed from yesterday. You're looking at the number 74 Ginetta that leads the GT4 Championship with the race win for Hadley Simpson and Tom Holland. They won at the start of the season at Silverstone, so big points for that 3-hour race, and that's really helped carry them through the remainder of this early part of the season. Number 90 McLaren there on its toes, which is the car of Mark Warren and Jack Brown. Mark Warren has qualified that on pole position for the first of the 2 races that will be round about 11:30 this morning. That's a car that's won twice in GT4, the Dan Lavery, Darren Turner Aston Martin. GT4 is competitive as ever, and there, just making its way down the pit lane, number 78 Alex Martin crashed that Barwell run Lamborghini Huracan yesterday, and Joe, it was quite an impact with the barrier.
It really was, wasn't it? It darted off the track, exiting Hamilton, one of the fastest corners of the lap, and slapped the barrier very hard. The Barwell team working late to fix it, and bigger jeopardy for them. As you can see the moment here, just runs wide and then the car rotates round, and it's doing 120 miles an hour when it leaves the track. It does lose some speed, but this dry grass not giving much purchase, and it's about to slap the barriers very, very hard. Look at the barrier lean over as well. All that energy dissipated through that Lamborghini. That's our championship leading car, so jeopardy will follow them throughout the day.
And it also has an extra 10 seconds to serve on the pit stop for the compensation time for winning at Spa. Let's hear then from the team principal of Barwell, Mark Lemmer, with Bryn Lucas.
Yeah, we've just shown that lovely moment where Alex Martin went firing into the barrier. He's getting ready behind us, actually. You can see over the shoulder of Mark just here. But Mark Lemmer is alongside me. Mark, the team's had to work quite hard through the night. Can you tell us how long they worked for and what they had to do?
Yeah, fairly extensive rebuild, as you'd expect. But surprisingly, the chassis was all good. And the energy seems to have dissipated itself along the whole sort of side of the car, which meant that the repair was reasonably straightforward. Until warm-up's done, we'll still be a little bit nervous that there might be some hidden gremlins, but it went reasonably smoothly.
What's reasonably smooth? Like 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, Rock?
1 o'clock-ish. I think the boys were away and then had to do a little bit more in the morning, but yeah, it's gone reasonably smoothly.
And talking to Alex this morning, what's his mood at the moment? Is he just wants to get back out in the car and right the wrong?
Yeah. He's bouncing around like a little gazelle this morning. He's all ready to go. He's shaking it off. We went and had dinner with Rob and the guys last night and had a cheeky half a lager, and everyone's good to go this morning.
Good stuff. Just quickly on Rob and Hugo's car, there was a slight issue with the gearbox. It wasn't selecting first.
It was a knock-on effect from the repair we did from the broken wheel speed sensor. Not sure exactly, but it was something that we disturbed, and hopefully that's been put to bed as well.
Well, we shall have to wait and see, shan't we?
We shall have to wait and see.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah, we understand that that gremlin meant they had to disconnect certain bits of the electronics on number 63. There it is in the background. We saw Hugo Cook with a car that did not want to handle. Well, we subsequently learned that they'd had to turn off the ABS or disconnect the ABS and the traction control. So no wonder it was a handful.
Yeah, it really was, and this was the view we had, wasn't it, with Hugo Cook aboard the car, and it was a leery ride for him. Yeah. These cars are designed with ABS and TC, so as a driver, when those systems fail, it's really hard. You have very little feel, and that's the excuse I'm going to give. It's still looking quite leery for Hugo Cook, but this is where the car is trying to put 550 horsepower down just through the rear wheels. Boxing now, I don't think that would be a problem. That would just be a routine warm-up, getting their procedure correct for the pit lane. Barwell, first garage, you see the car controller in the all green overalls. Rob Collard ready to jump aboard.
And you see the cars have to go nose in. You can't park nose to tail in the pit lane, you've got to go nose in because there just isn't the room to have the cars nose to tail as you might do in a much bigger pit lane. So the pit stops are going to be that little bit longer with them nose in. A pit stop for a GT3 car, 75 seconds, and 105 for GT4. And you're looking at GT4 machinery right now, including number 24 Jack Collins in the BMW, that's third in the championship, that's had a race win and carries an extra 10 seconds of compensation time in the pit lane. Behind is 84 McLaren that was quick yesterday. Indeed, Revy Lake starts third on the grid in GT4 for race 1 in the McLaren Artura.
Yeah, our youngest driver on the grid. The BMW there, a bit of trim hanging off. Is that a legacy from hitting one of the many floppy bollards here at Snetterton? And all the bollards are put out at the start of each session, and then it's the driver's job to get rid of them throughout their laps.
And as they go out of the Agostini corner, number 61 BMW, this is Ernie Graham at the wheel. That had an off in testing on Friday. 27 is another of the GT4 cars, the Aston Dan Lavery doing driving duties. The only double winner within the championship. We've had 4 different winners, so a different winner every time out thus far in GT3, and this is the only double winner in GT4, the only double winning car in its category, in other category of the championship. And Dan Lavery trying to get past rally star Ernie Graham here.
And Lavery's been a real standout performance, hasn't he, in the bronze element of GT4. And you've got the Ginetta, I think, as well behind. So this is a great illustration of BOP working. BMW, Aston, Ginetta flashing the headlights. Looks like a video game, doesn't it? It doesn't look real. Lavery here trying to get the slipstream. You can see the dirty air affecting the bonnet. He's rolled out the throttle. He actually just wants some clear space, I think. And he's decided he's not going to try and get past that BMW of Ernie Graham. And look at all the bollards. You can't, because they've already disappeared through the left under the bridge. And the reason why is it's a shorter distance. The other positive is that apex curb really hooks up the front of the car, giving you some more grip. And actually the Artura has got past Chomp, the Century BMW.
As 42 Ginetta now joins the session. Jack Mitchell shown behind the wheel of that car. Number 77 is the car that's second in GT3 in the championship, and it's Morgan Tilbrook who shares with Ben Barnicoat, who is out first. Morgan Tilbrook's going to line up second on the grid for this morning's race, and this is his view coming out of Bombhole.
Yeah, it was a mega qualifying from Morgan yesterday, wasn't it? And sometimes critical of Morgan, because I can know he can win races, he can be the fastest, and we just haven't always seen it. But yesterday was one of those illustrations of a good day for Morgan Tilbrook, second in his qualifying behind the sister car of Mark Warren. Ben Barnicoat was third, so it's going to be a strong day for this car, sorry, the 77, which is second in the championship at the moment.
And for the first race, it will have an extra 5 seconds of compensation time based on being third in GT3 at Spa. So Morgan Tilbrook pretty much with the road to himself now, goes up to the Wilson hairpin.
Yeah, he set the lap up early, so he obviously is on a push lap. He's gone in a bit deep there, V the corner off. It's one of those that you can recover, and he was very patient to not pick the throttle up, so he allowed the car to rotate. Soft brake into Palmer's. We now see it from the outside. Again, the apex curb's your friend. He gets that beautifully well. Maybe a little bit cautious on exit. Wasn't forced out wide, so maybe not the energy in the car. Another hairpin. You can see the fans on the bank there. It's a great viewing point at the very flat Snetterton. A bit snap of oversteer as well. This car isn't feeling great potentially for Morgan. The problem is last time he drove it in qualifying was at its best. Low fuel, new tyres, and they definitely won't have it low fuel or new tyres now. They'll be trying to get his head in the game for the race.
So he works his way then through the Hamilton-Oggies sequence of corners. There, number 7 Aston Martin, which was brought in by Andrew Howard. Ross Gunn looks like he's taking over. Andrew was relieved of 1,200 quid yesterday for not slowing down to the regulation 80k red flag speed. He did slow, but then speeded up and slowed down again. So 1,200 quid's quite a steep fine. But at least it's only monetary. It's not a grid drop, for example.
Yeah, it's a lot of 99s to sell, isn't it? Well, they're not 99p anymore, so it's probably only about 5 ice creams these days. Kevin Say looking on, glasses on. A lot of drivers now wearing glasses, even if they don't need the prescription. They just like the sort of HD effect it can do for the glare. And Kevin Say, I think, maybe won't be particularly happy yesterday. He was pole last year and struggled really yesterday. You can see Joe Wheeler, James Townsend here, driver change going on. Interesting beach team practicing changing the tyres on their 7 car. I think that shows to us they've saved a set of new tyres. So remember that for race 1. I expect the race where the pro gets in the pit stop, the first race today, they're going to bolt a new set of tyres on for Ross Gunn. And this is the driver change. The belt's being done. Joe Wheeler, the pro, helping James Townsend sounds in there, get all 5 belts located. Window net will need to be done as well, radio, drinks. You can see the pink clip on the side of the seat there to help the drivers locate that. There is plenty of time for safety. They have to be in pit lane in GT4 for 105 seconds. So that gives them well over a minute and a half to do the driver change element. We saw Kevin say earlier, this is his teammate Ben Green in the 18 2Cs car. 2Cs really have been so dominant here at Snetterton for what feels like an eternity, but it wasn't their day yesterday. They will be hoping they found some pace overnight with their cars.
Yeah, Ben Green, who we also see racing in the GT World Challenge Europe events, comes then now down through turn 3. And while all that's been going on, the fastest time of the session has been claimed by the Jared Weberski Lamborghini, number 78, that he didn't really get in yesterday as far as qualifying was concerned. He had to miss his session after the damage was done. So he's done a 1:48.7. He's now brought the car into the pit lane, but that would seem to allay any fears at Barwell that there's still anything residual in 78. You're looking on board number 18 once more. Ben Green pressing on.
Yeah, car looks okay. We saw this yesterday in quali. Nothing really untoward with it. It just wasn't fast at all yesterday. Maybe a little bit benign on the front end. I say that because we turned into the corner onto the back straight, expected some rotation, and it just sat there. And as a driver, you want to be able to trust the car underneath you, and it just looks to me like it just hasn't got the purchase. A little bit floaty. These cars have so many restrictions, so you can't just lower it on the deck. There is a minimum ride height. There's even an amount of springs you can use. The stiffness range is premeditated, so maybe they are just in a hard place here at Snetterton. It's been so dry. Big snap of oversteer there. I just think the track is super low grip this weekend. We haven't had rain for such a long time. Is the track just super dusty? It doesn't look like an easy place to hustle a car around.
Yeah, every time anybody goes offline, it does seem to kick out a huge amount of dust from underneath. We've been seeing that in terms of GT and the other races over the course of the weekend. In super slow-mo, that's Ben Green attacking the Brundle Nelson S's. And the bollards that were there yesterday have either been demolished early or they've just given up on it. Probably you get to a point where it costs you so much to keep having to buy and replace them, it's just not worth bothering with. And if they respect track limits, well, it's not an issue. Big if there. If does a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence. Aston Martin GT3 and GT4, as you see, number 7, brought in by Ross Gunn, ready to go back out. It was here that Andrew Howard had his last win in the championship back in 2015. Remember, they took a pole each at Alton Park last time we had a sprint weekend, the 2 1R races. The Ferrari just going through the pit lane there. That looked pretty handy in the hands of Josh Buchan yesterday, who's learning about all these new circuits, the Australian. And Luke Shaw in his Ginetta comes towards the end of the lap through turn 14. That was another car that seemed to have a bit of a snap coming out of Coram.
Yeah, he boxes now, so again, just a good chance for the teams to practice their procedure. And like you said, David, it's an awkward one here at Snetterton, same at Alton Park as well. The sprint races coming in at 45 degrees. And here at concrete area, it really picks up, and you'll see cars actually lift a wheel as they hit that, as lifting up and hitting. That is the 90 car. That's why the bollards are put there. I get your point about the cost of replacing them. I think Jonathan Palmer's got a spare quid or two to put them back in. The problem is, as soon as the drivers can see an inch, they take a mile, and that's what's happening to the track limits there underneath the bridge.
That was Jack Brown, and he has got that car within this session to second fastest now. As you look at the road-in run Ferrari, Cameron Campbell at the wheel of it, and the number 3 McLaren, which has got at the wheel Mike Price, has lost a lap time for track limits. Not that it hugely matters in a warm-up session like this. So there's the Ferrari, the sole Ferrari 296 on the grid. And Cameron Campbell still learning circuits, but powering his way now through that infield section of the circuit.
Yeah, like you said yesterday, it looked good, didn't it, in qualifying? I thought the balance of this car probably looked the best out of everything we saw, and given the experience of the drivers, they're definitely punching well above their weight. We go to the GT4s. You can tell they're GT4s because of their yellow headlights, so easy to distinguish. That's going to be a big thing in the race. 24 cars on the grid, 13 GT3s, 11 of these GT4s. The traffic becomes a big, big factor, and Blake Anglis at the moment aboard the 84 car, just getting his eyeing ahead of the day. Round Coram we go. You can see the speed there, 160 kilometers an hour. And now I need a short, sharp brake, which is difficult because the car's not straight. Down to second gear, 80 kilometers an hour, hard on the throttle. And he's getting the headlight flashes just to warn those Astons which peel out the way. And then suddenly he's got a load of space as he comes into turn one. Big commitment needed here round at Snetterton.
Let's get to the pit lane, and 84 Blake Anglis, Revy Lake's McLaren, the next focus of attention. Revy Lake, youngest driver in the championship, and Revy is with Bryn.
Yeah, young driver, but old head on the shoulders, Revy. Yesterday, a really good performance in qualifying for you.
Yeah, I was happy with it, to be honest. The car felt really good. Was close to pole, but then lost it just at the end. So I think we have a good race car, so just have to see what happens T1.
What's been the change within the team? Is it the fact now that you're able just to concentrate on the racing at Mahiki and not running the team as well with your dad?
I mean, to be honest, I wasn't that bothered. It's all the same, really. Just bring the car, turn up, drive the car. It's all the same, just the same engineer. I'm happy with it, so it's all good.
You need to over-egg the omelette a little bit more and say it's really, really tough. But third place in the race there looks like a really good position. And Snetterton's a very hard place to overtake, isn't it?
I'll find out later on. In a junior, it's a bit easy because you're in a small car. But I think in a GT4, it's going to be a lot tighter. But I think it will be okay. Just have to find out what happens, to be honest. Can't predict it, so try and win.
It's a wait-and-see moment. Thanks, Revy.
Yeah, thank you.
So on board with the teammate, and we're seeing on board with all the information you've got. So the dash, you can see the big number in the middle, the gear. So we're in fourth gear at the moment. Number below is the speeding case, 160 now. Above that gear is the RPM, so the revs the engine is doing. This twin turbo V6 in the Artura, relatively high revving. You'll be shifting up at 7,800. And you can just see the flash of the lights on the side of the dash. That shows you which ABS is active. And then on the left side, lap time. So he's predicted to do a 1 minute 57.02 at the moment. And the number below that is the delta. So he's 2 seconds off a 155.3, which Revy Lake did. And there you then have some more of the temperatures below that. So a fair amount of information on the dash for the drivers. There's plenty of dashes to look at as well. So the engineers sometimes will ask you to go to a specific dash page to get the number for potentially, say, the gearbox temperature. There's a huge amount going on in these modern GT3 and GT4 cars.
So we're almost at the checkered flag, just a handful of seconds to go, and Alex Martin has got back aboard the car that Jared Oberski, who leads the SRO GT Academy, incidentally, from British GT, he did the top time with. Alex Martin now back out, exorcising those demons of yesterday. There will be a little bit of the thought of the incident of yesterday preying on his mind, but the more laps he can turn, the more he is satisfied that, yeah, got that out of my system.
Yeah, I think that's what Mark Lemmer was saying last night, wasn't it? Wise move by Mark to take him out for dinner, take Rob Collard and just speak about it, work out what Alex did wrong and put a procedure in place to make sure it doesn't happen again. To me, it just looked like he overcommitted the entry speed. Maybe his vision was slightly low, and it's a real cop-out as is a big snap of oversteer. So he won't hit the barrier this time, but that is the last thing you're going to want, because next time he sits in the car, it will be raced up.
Absolutely, and he will be the man behind the wheel. So Tristan Edel, the commercial director of Barwell, talking to Jared Oberski there, looking at the pictures, and Alex Martin will be thinking, oh no, not again, and his confidence has just sunk to the floor. Yeah,
and he can't have half a pint of lager now to settle his nerves. That was a last night thing. So he turns in, looked okay, and he's on the right part of the track. He just snaps round on it. Really, really awkward. I can't see any direct link to yesterday's problem because Hamilton's a left-hander, that's a right-hander, so you can't say it's a rear geometry issue. Maybe a wind direction thing, but that was a big snap of oversteer, and that isn't something we see. And the team will want to check it, and they'll make sure everything is A-OK, but that is the last thing he will want as a driver.
One of the things the team was telling me yesterday was that after about 5 laps, the tyres seemed to really drop off. They haven't had it before. It happened in the cooler temperatures of yesterday morning, but also in the hotter temperatures of testing on Friday. That car had just done 7 laps, so you know they've done the 5 that were optimum. I wonder whether it is going back to that tyre dag, but we haven't seen 63 having a moment. But yeah, there'll be a bit of head scratching at Barwell because it seems that when the tyres are absolutely perfect, the car is fine, but as soon as the tyres start to lose their edge, it becomes a different beast.
Yeah, and remember the speed the cars were doing through there. We rode on board the GT4 car doing 160k, GT3 would be 185. Imagine losing control at that sort of speed after having a huge crash yesterday. The confidence for the championship leading car needs to be built up.
Yeah, so Alex Martin, you could understand if he were a little bit circumspect in the early part of race 1. Because, of course, there's also the championship situation and banking points to think of. There, number 3, McLaren, is the Mike Price, now Callum McLeod. McLaren, the checkered flag is out, so let's have a quick rattle through the order. It's not going to affect the grid, like I say, but your different class times headed by in Pro-Am in GT3, Ben Green, and in Silver-Am, Jared Waberski, in GT4, Pro-Am, Dan Lavery, and in Silver by Revy Lake. Put it all in order. Alex Martin ahead of the Charles Clark, Jonathan Beeson, BMW, although Jared Waberski did do the time. Mark Warren, pole for race 1, third, thanks to Jack Brown's efforts. Aaron Walker and Ian Loggy, fourth this morning, ahead of Kevin Say and Ben Green, looking a bit more promising for Mercedes AMG, with Rob Collard and Hugo Cook rounding out the top 6. In GT4, Blake Anglis and Revy Lake then topping GT4. From George Gamble, making a return to British GT with Josh Stanton second, and Brandon Templeton and Jack Collins third in the GT4 class. And you can see not everybody venturing out, not everybody doing a lap time. I think 1 or 2 drivers purely went out to do an installation lap just to do a systems check. So we are looking forward to 2 one-hour races in British GT. Now, there's 78 back in the pit lane. We saw Alex Martin have that spin coming through Coram. And this was another one coming down towards turn 14. And this time, the car getting a lot closer to something solid. There it is from another angle. So Alex Martin arrives at the bottom of Coram. So it's the neck part of the racetrack, effectively. And he will be scratching his head as if to say, what the you-know-what is going on here?
That was on an in-lap as well. That was so close. Something's not right with that rear left then, you would say. So the rear left is the part that slapped the barrier, and they're going to have to string that car up and make sure the geometry is all okay.
And Alex Martin, very perplexed by all of that, and discussing with Jared Waberski that all of a sudden it goes. You can see off the, don't really need the words, you can just see, can't you, off the way he's describing it, that it's coming out of nowhere and it's a shock to the system. And like Joe made the point, on an in-lap, for that to happen is something absolutely not right. Alex Martin just discussing about turning the car in and it snaps away. So 11:30 is going to be race 1. We look forward to your company for the first of 2 60-minute races here at Snetterton. For now, though, from Norfolk, it's goodbye.